really, really important that they have enough exercise. And I think that's the advantage of living in a big city like Amsterdam. We don't always have the luxury to move by car.
When I go shopping and do the groceries, I also think about, well, what do I want to eat myself, but also what do I want to learn the kids, and I teach them about, well, what's healthy and what's not.
No cola, no Fanta or something like that, so a lot of water.
We try to give him healthy foods, that make sure that he has a decent breakfast.
Sometimes if they ask for more sugar and for more chips and for more, yeah, you can say no.
Well, we're joined now by Paul Gately, who's a professor of exercise and obesity from Leeds Beckett University and has helped create that report. Now, you also travelled to Amsterdam yourself to find out what's been happening there. It feels, although all the advice is good and parents are saying, you know, we're being much more mindful, schools getting involved and banning children from drinking certain things, this feels a little bit nanny state. Or is that not the feeling that you got there?
No, it's not the feeling I got there. What I got was an action by parents, by children, by public health officials, by companies across Amsterdam really working together to say childhood obesity is a major issue here. We see the impacts it's having on our children, we see the impacts having on our economy, we see the impacts having on our healthcare system. We need to work collectively. It's not about saying ban this, ban that, ban the other. It's about saying how do we educate, how do we live, and how do we live more effectively.
But if a child is sent to school in Amsterdam with, say, a sugary drink, is the child allowed to drink that at lunchtime in the school?
So there is restrictions during school time.
So the school has control over what the child eats and drinks?
But they're not restricting outside of school. So there's about a balance here, is how do we create an environment that does not create obesity and unhealth and all those consequences, but at the same time says there are plenty of times to eat healthy and unhealthy. It's about a balance and it's about education, and school's a great platform to do that.
And I don't think anyone would disagree with that. The only reason I'm asking that is I wonder how that would go down here in the UK.
Well, I suppose the point is there are many lessons to learn from Amsterdam. First, and I think most important, is Eric van der Berg, the sort of deputy mayor of Amsterdam, has taken on this as a sort of an agenda and driven it collectively. And I think that political collectiveness is critical. We don't have government leadership on childhood obesity, so that's the fundamental problem. The second issue they've done in Amsterdam is they've done two things. They've looked at children that might be overweight and obese in the future, and have put a whole range of things in to help them address the problem. But what they've also done is they've focused on the 1 in 3 children, or the 1 in 5 children in Amsterdam that have a problem, and they've tackled that problem directly. We've got some bits of that in the UK. We've done some great work recently on sugar tax and all these other things that will prevent children getting overweight and obese. But about 10 years ago, we gave up on the 1 in 3 children that already have the problem. And those are the group, that's the children that are going to cost our NHS a lot of money in the future. So it's that leadership, and it's that sort of collective approach across the population that Amsterdam really have pulled together. And the other thing I think they've pulled together is all the different partners. So it's very much a partnership approach. It's not one blaming another. It's not parents being blamed or schools being blamed or the government being blamed. It's everyone working collectively. And I think that's the critical thing that they have there that we've not achieved in the UK.
How do we square what you've just told us with what the Department of Health have told us in their statement? They say the government is delivering the most ambitious childhood obesity plan in the world.
Yeah, and that's what they say.
You said yes.
Yes.
So are they?
No.
Okay. So I mean,
yes, that's what we hear. That's what we hear. But to my point, there is no political leadership. You know, Jamie Oliver flagged last year the childhood obesity plan was ripped apart. The original one set by David Cameron was ripped apart, and then it was a 12-page document. That is not a leading.
So just give us a steer then. Help us with some of the practicalities. At the moment, they're saying they have got an ambitious plan, the most ambitious in the world. So if you had the wherewithal, you had it, you were within Whitehall. What's this thing that you want to start? Is this what is it, a whole new department? What is it that starts that process? And I understand it's only one small part of...
So the first thing I'd say is, as a scientist, I would say, what's the data tell us? The data is telling us, year on year, obesity rates in the UK are going up. The data in Amsterdam is telling us obesity rates are going down. So you can't have the most ambitious plan in the world. Our rates are going up and other people's rates are going down. Can't be the most ambitious. So that's the first point. The second point is, it is ambitious on things like sugar tax and reformulation, but that only prevents the problem in those that don't have the issue. Those that have the problem, we gave up on them 10 years ago. There is almost no services. There are 2.5 million children in the UK that are obese. There is services provided by the NHS for 133 of those children. You cannot tell me that's world-leading action.
So just briefly, because obviously time's always against us, what does it look like? In an ideal world, what does it look like in the next 6 months?
First thing is leadership. That is what Amsterdam under Eric van der Berg has shown, that political leadership, driving all partners together, not one saying one thing, another saying another thing, which is what we have in the UK. That political leadership drives collective action. The second thing is we need to look after those that have already got the problem, and not give up on them. And the third thing that I think Amsterdam's done is they've been very careful to make sure that they don't widen health inequalities, which is what they're achieving. We're achieving the opposite. We are seeing an increase in obesity rates in the most deprived communities and reduction. So it's about leadership and it's about action at all levels, and it's about focusing on those most in need.
Paul, thank you very much for your time this morning. Very interesting. Paul Gately is Professor of Exercise and Obesity at Leeds Beckett University.
17 minutes past 8 is the time.